Hello, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with a Martial Artist. Today we are talking grappling, primarily jiu-jitsu. I've got Dan Lester on the podcast today. He is a very experienced Brazilian Jiu Jitsu practitioner, former MMA fighter, with a really interesting approach to training jiu-jitsu that we're going to dive into. He now offers one-to-one coaching online primarily, with a really interesting take on it to help you elevate your game to the next level. We dive into his background. We talk about jiu-jitsu as a whole and his approach to it. Really good stuff. So make sure you give him some support, and in the description below, whatever platform you're listening to, I will pop some information about his workshops, his seminars, and where you can follow him as well. So make sure you show him some support. Don't forget to support the podcast too. Drop us a follow on any social media platforms that you listen to. We are there. But without further ado, I will let you guys enjoy my conversation with Dan.
Yeah, perfect.
Are you good to go?
Ready when you're
Perfect. Dan, thank you very much for, meeting me down here. We've got a much fancier setup than I'm used to, so I'm pulling out all the big stops for you today.
special treatment. Appreciate that.
Exactly. So I think first and foremost would probably be quite good to introduce yourself, a bit of background in terms of who you are and the sort of styles that you do. I know you've dabbled in a little bit of MMA and jiu-jitsu, but yeah, I'll let you take it away first, and then we'll ramble from there.
Let's see if we can get this in one take. So I'm Dan Lester. I've been training about 12 years this year. For anyone watching who remembers it, my trial when I first started at the gym was during the ice bucket challenge. So my MMA class did that, gave that a go, did the fighting fit, the fitness classes.
Oh yeah.
The kettlebells and bag work, and if you've ever seen Never Back Down, it's like the fitness motivation montage and that sort of scene. I was like, that was a class, that was wonderful. And the third session was like, we've been challenged to do the ice bucket challenge. I remember that. So that was 2014.
I do remember that. That
was a while back. That was. So I started with MMA. That was my base, and then went into jiu-jitsu because we had a coach come in purely to teach gi jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And I realised something very important which stuck with me from that point onwards. You don't get hit in jiu-jitsu, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it does make a difference. Yeah.
I thought combat sports meant you had to get hit, and I thought, what am I signing up for?
Yeah.
Do jiu-jitsu, best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Keep your brain and get your skills, and everyone's happy. Throughout my MMA time, I've had, I say 4 amateurs and 3 inter clubs. But the old school spit and sawdust inter clubs, which are basically like, you've got your amateur, that's what's going to keep you safe.
Yeah.
So I'd say I'd have 7.
Yeah, we've spoken about this on a podcast a number of times, especially like some of the older school guys. Like the old school MMA interclubs are just fights, but with less actual refereeing. Like they just let it go, and it is they're intense things sometimes.
Yeah, so when I was ready for my first amateur fights, I felt a bit more accustomed to it. I thought I signed up for a bit more. But after that, with the MMA, after COVID, and I just took some time away from that intensity of training, and then put more time into the jiu-jitsu, studying more the leg locks and bits and bobs in that front, and just got more involved with that really. And
now, are you still mixing between? You still doing a bit of MMA, or are you now just purely grappler?
I would teach MMA and like PTs and one-to-one sort of things. But regards to my own time, I feel like it's all in or all out. I struggle to do MMA in a hobbyist perspective. I think it's more of a commitment to do it properly than dabble and get hurt.
Yeah,
obviously,
especially if you're going to compete.
100%. If you're going to compete, you have to be all in.
Yeah.
Even mentally, if you're not all in, you're thinking maybe not, maybe this, you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
That's my opinion anyway. But jiu-jitsu, you can kind of find your sweet spot in the sense of if you're in a tournament that's more regional, a certain volume of people can enter sort of thing. You don't have to be a full-time, acai and Jesus kind of steroids and all the good stuff. You can actually be a normal practitioner who just enjoys it, does it every now and then.
You could be a mum or a dad that jumps in and has a go. Yeah, rather than
and you can actually
Jesus.
That's it. I just go for steroids, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think that might. We've had people talk about that in the past on the podcast as well. And do you know what? It's not that big a drama. I mean, I think Some people get really funny about it, and I get that when you're a full-time, like high-level competitive athlete, right? But at the end of the day, if you're geared up, then hey, who cares?
Exactly. Well, there's a question for you. This is something I used to talk about in the podcast ages ago. It was it's unlocked a memory. Do you believe there should be in the UFC divisions and non-tested divisions of the same weight categories?
Yeah, I've heard people talk about stuff like this before.
Juice
I think
plus,
that is a lot of fun. Yeah, why not? I do think there is a lot of fun to be like, let's just see like how crazy we can make these people and just what you get out of it. Because
Exactly.
it would be a lot of fun. I think you'd struggle to find competitors for it, but the ones that you do find will be mad.
Well, that's the thing. And one thing to bear in mind as well, you might have the odd maverick who's like, I'm going to be in that division but not take anything.
Oh,
And just be like, I'm going to
yeah.
prove a point.
Yeah.
Go back to old school, and then we're all back to square one. I'm like, yeah, you don't need it. But then reality hits and they lose, and everyone's like, yeah, you probably, if you had, it's an advantage for a reason.
Yeah, probably. I've often wondered how much, because I don't, as far to the best of my knowledge anyway, I've never come up against anyone, even in training, that is like juiced up and on steroids. I wonder how much of an advantage it is. I'm sure when you're talking like high level, right, steroids are going to be, because you're talking like millimeters of difference between the top guys, right? But I wonder how much it actually does impact your training and well, not training, your competition, I suppose.
Here's a concept on that, which is quite close to home to an extent. You know those mates you get who buy loads of protein shakes and don't do the training, they just drink protein shakes, and they're not massive.
Yeah.
They're just a bit chubbier now and they've got lots of protein in the system. It's thinking that's the rest of it. Unless they're training with that intensity, where the steroids help them recover and perform that bit extra, I feel like to be a world champion, you don't have to just take steroids. You have to also be a world champion.
You've got to have something to you, don't you? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think you can just get the wonder drug and you're all.
That is a shame, because I would be the first to sign up for that. I think I'm not about the hard work life.
That's it, straight to finish line.
Yeah. But sorry, we got sidetracked. You were saying, so you've done MMA and now you're gravitating more towards sort of jiu-jitsu. Are you more the gi jiu-jitsu side, or are you no gi, or are you a bit of everything?
I like what works. And what I mean by that is if I'm losing the round, I hate that. And I write it off and say, does it count? And I prefer the other.
Yeah.
I will pass that buck and pass that preference right away there and then. Take any responsibility from me. And any kind of, skill deficit, none of that. No, I like them both for different things. I treat them as separate sports almost. With the gi, I like the intricacy. I like the diverse range of guards, points of control concepts, the pace. You can always alternate, all things like that, the control element. But with the no-gi, I like the athleticism. I like the rule changes. I like mainly the leg locks predominantly.
I was going to say, because I thought I could guess the answer, because you are a bit of a leg lock man from what I understand. But it is interesting to see that you do still train the gi stuff as well.
Yeah, so with the gi, 1 for understanding, 2 for variety, and 3 for the bolos. Because when you have points of contact, you can get a lot more leverage, a lot more control on your partner's hips. So it becomes taking the back in more extravagant ways that are somewhat low percentage, whatever that means.
Yeah. If you're doing them, you're doing them.
I think if you're enjoying what you're doing, you can do what you want to an extent. But with the leg locks, yeah, they're just something I got my head around early, and the diversity of them, the expansion of them, the development of them. Yeah, I just sort of found it wasn't like it used to be, where it was this big gap in some people's games where you could exploit that. It was somewhat of an advantage to have a developed skill set in a certain area. Like if you know chokes and not arm bars and things like that, you're pretty standard. If you know leg locks as well, you've got a bit of an additional sort of skill set. And if you get to this next level, we're at the modern era, which is comparing the two together and combining them in different chains and things like that. You're even that step above that. It's just evolution, really. And if you've ever had it in rounds where you get tapped out multiple times by some particular submission or style of game, you realise I need to learn that at least to stop that happening again, because that trauma was just not worth having again. Yeah,
well, that's where I'm at with the leg locks, actually, funny enough. So when we were talking earlier about, I genuinely am quite keen on coming down to your seminars, because for some reason, leg locks just don't really compute in my brain. I've never quite been able to, there's something missing. I sort of understand the positions and things, but I'm just always sort of a beat behind with them. But I think they are a very interesting weapon, and that's the sort of one that I do get on, like you're saying, those rounds where you're tapped multiple times by the same thing. 90% of the time for me personally, it is on the legs, and they are a real advantage. And even now, like you say, most people have a better like defense and understanding of leg locks now. But you get a good leg locker, they're still running through people, right?
100%. I mean, the pace, the setup, the timing, ultimately it's execution. Like you can have a very good technical understanding of a certain position or technique in itself, but unless you can apply that properly, it's just novelty knowledge, really. With the leg locks, here's a question for you. What part of it do you feel you don't understand? Is it the shapes? Is it the timing? Is it the physical finishing mechanics? What element of it do you feel is what's not quite clicking for you?
I don't know. I've always like mulled over that. And I think it's something with the transitions between the different positions on the legs. Like I've always been quite slow to get there. I'm always like a beat behind of knowing when I should have changed. Like, people develop the sensitivity of changing from, I don't know, like knee on belly to mount, sort of side control to Keza or whatever it is. People have that sensitivity. That's where I feel like I miss it. And then actually having the stability in those positions, like hold it for a second and understand what I'm doing, and then think about setting up whatever else I'm trying to attack at that time, is probably it. We're going to get a live coaching breakdown here on the podcast.
We're going to get the most shameless plug of the podcast.
Yes, here we go.
Here we comes in with our sponsor today, Alignment Performance. So I've been doing online coaching for a little while based on that kind of premise of conceptual and technical like injections to, back to the steroid conversation, these sort of technical like insights into people's games and be able to like tweak and adjust things from a distance. So what I'd be able to do for that sort of thing, and what I'd suggest for you to develop those skill sets, is positional sparring for that. Hold a position, outside ash sheet, single leg X or whatever it might be. Try and retain the position. Don't even worry about finishing, just keep it. And then choose a following position, whether it's saddle, outside, 50-50, whatever it might be. Usually A to B and then a B to C. And then you can have some sort of chain and some sort of follow-up.
Building it from there.
And a follow-up point on that is this thing called the sunken cost fallacy. Are you aware of that?
I have heard of it, yeah.
Same kind of idea. If you're committing to a technique, predominantly a submission, and it's not working out for you, don't put all the eggs in that basket and think, unless it's the end of the round and you've got nothing else to do, just trust me else. Yeah. Just let things go when you need to.
Don't keep chasing it.
Yeah, if you're going to the world, it's not paying dividends, just try something else. So you just find that sweet spot from practice and, repetition, really.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And so that's what you're doing now in terms of the coaching. Do you take it just martial artists, or are you talking about like online, like fitness coaching as well, or?
Well, it's a work in progress regards to the system itself, but as a whole, it's online personal training in a jiu-jitsu format.
Nice.
And it's trying to like revolutionize this whole thing, trying to find ways of making it work efficiently.
I'd say that's a bit niche to take the sort of mental and technical aspects and be able to sort through it, because I think a lot of people miss that, right? Like if you've got a coach and you're at sort of a big gym, your coach isn't necessarily going to be able to put all that time into just you as an individual, right? And say, oh, you need to work on X, Y, Z. You need to do, this position or whatever it is. But having someone like yourself be able to sort of separately go, all right, what was working, what wasn't working, and break it down, gives you a lot of like pointers. I think that's quite clever, that.
I appreciate that. And so a lot of it is my big niche kind of tagline. I haven't got the marketing-esque kind of sales pitch for it. But my thing is you shouldn't have to change your schedule, just your output.
Okay.
So if you're training twice a week, 3 times a week, once a week, 7 times a week, whatever it might be, if you put more concentrated effort and thought into what your actions are, you get more out of it. You could do the bare minimum for 7 sessions a week and have bare minimum results.
Yeah, you get nothing.
Put maximum effort in for 1 session a week, you get more effort than those 7 sessions altogether. That's my understanding anyway, that's mine.
And when you're saying effort, you're not necessarily meaning like the physical output, right? No. Is it the focus?
It's the focus, the questions, there's things that certain like traits that don't take talent, being punctual, asking questions, being helpful, things like that. If you have the characteristics and the traits to be able to be the best student in all elements of, you're helping each other, you're listening attentively, 2 ears, 1 mouth kind of approach of just taking information in, being present, not taking the spotlight from anyone.
Yeah.
And trying. Doesn't mean winning all the time, because the nature of winning is where your goalposts are. But if you're putting effort into getting out of a position, not accepting things that aren't working, and as a further expansion onto the coaching side of things, an element of that is the mental side of it. Because in my experience, alone for competition, is massively on the mental side. Those internal thoughts of, I'm in a bad spot, it's getting worse, oh, he's got me.
Yeah.
Oh, he was taking me down yet. You know what I mean? Or you lost the last competition, so the last round, so you think, oh, I'm going to lose the next one. And you get these thought trains, this like NLP, CBT, some of the stuff.
Those negative spirals.
And you talk yourself into the podium, into the bronze medal instead of a gold you could have had, and selling yourself short. And it's working on things like that as well. So regardless of what it sounds like, it's not X amount of shrimps for time. It's not CrossFit jiu-jitsu exercises. It's more technical and theoretical based kind of approach to things.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress still, but regardless of how it's coming along, it's taking shape.
I think that's a valuable thing, though. I think that makes a lot of sense to have someone like that you can look at it. And I mean, even if you take some footage or whatever and ping it over, I'm sure you could probably get a lot more insight out of it. But having someone actually look at you specifically and like help you work on the mental approach to it and what you're actually trying to do in the sessions helps good. Especially a lot of like more beginnery type people as well are just like rocking up and having a go, and you have no idea even what you're trying to achieve, yet alone how to further it, right?
Definitely, I'd agree with that. I mean, I initially tailored this more towards the other end, where it's the black and brown belts, where they're experienced enough but not coached enough, because they're at the higher end, so they get less attention, because the lower level, less experienced practitioners need more support.
Yeah, they need a bit more hand-holding.
So more, they're left to their own devices, so your own development guidance is kind of put to one side. So to then focus on the coach, be the coach's coach, essentially.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to being a beginner, there's so much to learn, so much to focus on. I feel you're better off getting a real thin layer on everything.
Yeah.
And building like layers upon that, and then specializing in certain areas. So, for example, say white belt, you're just surviving. Blue belt, I heard jiu-jitsu described as the buffet belt. You pick a bit of guard, I'll try a bit of spider, try a bit of lasso, try a bit of this.
Yeah.
Do I like it? Not really. I like that bit. I don't like Delahiva, but I like, worm guard or whatever, combination of things. You're picking and choosing where you want to invest your time. And then purple, you're investing more time into it, specializing and developing more of a game. Brown, you're refining it. And black, you're generalizing into all the other areas. That's my thought process on how this structure should be for your own learning. So when it comes to the coaching side of things, on top of that, once you've specialized in a certain area to some extent, albeit you put more XP points into a certain guard or a submission,
you'll have your preferences.
I can then give you advice on that based on, say, instructional content available, instructional material that's available, sparring feedback you're giving me. Because live feedback, I make a point of. There's a feedback Google form I've got on my online performance, where you can not just rate your efforts, your output, where you've done everything else, but also how your perceived success rate is. How do I feel I'm getting on?
Yeah.
In that session, I thought I did all right. I could have done better. And over time, you can review how you're getting on. So outside of the technical and the numbers, you can see how you feel. I'm seeing consistent improvement being felt as well as seen in results.
Yeah, that's it. If you're quite consistently saying, oh yeah, actually I am feeling better out of that session than that one, or oh, I didn't do that so well, or this session was a bit of an off day, then it stands out a bit more, right?
Exactly. And it's more just acknowledgement of, if it's 1% every day, that day might have been a 4%, it could have been a 10, maybe even a 15, who knows? And it's all just incremental growth. And where you have the odd down day, you think, oh, is it worth it? You think, well, the last 6-7 sessions have been upwards, so fine, one neutral one at worst. Because you can't go backwards really if you put the effort in.
Yeah, I like that as well. And then, that helps people, I suppose, to grow it and then keep moving forward from that and sort of adapt more. Where does it come from? Or I suppose actually, if you're talking about more higher level guys, they've already sort of come to you with a more established game in theory, right?
Yeah, they've got a blueprint for me to work from.
And that's it. And then you can sort of plug gaps. And are you quite into the technical side of it then, I assume? one of the people sort of downloading all of BJJ fanatics and
never watching
and
them.
Like. Yeah. I'm one of them.
I had all the sub metas, all of them, the instructionals, and I've watched 10 minutes of each, and I just thought, I'll get around to that at some point.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a story. I'll keep it brief as I can. So I've got experience of burnout through like just overdoing things. And part of that was jiu-jitsu theory, was how to be the best, how to learn the best, and that, and create all these systems, these notebooks, completely rammed full of all these different combinations of sequences and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It isn't the literal technical bits, it's the strategic bits, it's the mindset bits, it's the whole framework. And what I made it out to be was the infrastructure. So you had the outline of what your game would look like, the infrastructure of how you do it, and then the tactics to apply that essentially. And it would just be a whole system upon system upon system upon system. Bear in mind, this was like prime burnout. This was like 2 hours sleep a night and all that shit. Just training, working, all sorts of it.
Just obsession, just
pure ADHD, hyperfixation in full effect. All gas, no brakes.
But that's what you need. I think for a good martial arts coach, you need a little bit of that.
If you're not neurodiverse, I think you're missing out.
Yeah.
That's a little tagline, that'd be
Yeah. So where do you get your then mindset and stuff like that from? Is that something that you've had a particular coach that sort of brought you up that way, or is that just sort of how you've always thought about stuff? Because it's quite an interesting, it's quite a unique way of approaching the whole thing.
I've always done things arse about face. I made things hard work for myself because I didn't quite get it first time around.
Right.
So I made ways of things, made things in a certain way to be interpreted by me and comprehensive. I'm a firm believer in a first draft is more important than the first thought.
Okay.
So if you can see what it looks like, you can decide how you want to tweak it. The perfect starting point is so delayed often, where people are just going to be like, I'm not ready yet, not ready yet. I'd rather give it a go, say we get on, and then review, and then tweak and adjust. So I coined this thing called the 2-3-1 method. So it's basically action, review, and then start again. So you try something, what's the result? Okay, we just trial and error, tweak and adjust, and just spam.
Yeah.
The way I got that from was essentially like just volume of people that's doing things, a percentage. You know, the simple summary of all this is monkeys writing Shakespeare. You remember that whole theoretical thing that if you get enough monkeys on typewriters, they'll write Shakespeare eventually.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So not so much just
it rings a bell, but I can't think of what that was. Yeah.
But just to summarise that in a more like digestible, normal way of phrasing things.
Yeah.
Your first effort will give you your first picture of where you're at, and you can tweak and adjust that in the right direction till you get to where you're happy with.
You just keep going and keep repeating it until you're at that point.
And just having the clear mind and consistency to get there. Because if you take away the emotions and the frustrations, it's not a complicated thing. Being a world champion is really simple. It's not easy, it's simple. You just keep winning.
Yeah.
But how do you do that? You keep trying. How do you keep trying? You just don't give up. And if you don't give up, that includes pushing through the emotions, pushing through everything else. You keep doing that. I'm not saying everyone's going to be world champions for not quitting, but you'll be a lot better off if you don't
well,
quit.
You get a lot further. Yeah, that's it. It can't hurt to have a stab at it, can it?
No, exactly. If you just believe you're capable of doing more than you are, you'll go further than you could have gone.
Yeah.
If you cut yourself short, you don't go as far. It's cut and dry, but it doesn't have to be complicated for a change for me.
No, well, that's it. But that's quite nice to have that approach of, like, it's a pretty simple, like you say, it's simple, not easy. It's a pretty direct way to think about it and progress from there, and gives you a bit of a template to just get on with it, basically, is what you're saying.
In long and short of it, yes.
Yeah.
Paralysis by analysis is one of my biggest flaws. I will sit and worry and think, can I, should I, what if? And if I just got on with it, I'd have done it by now.
Yeah.
I'm too busy worrying about how it could have gone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that sort of thing where I feel like a lot of people have similar kind of anxieties and presumptions when it comes to new challenges and like tasks and opportunities. It's like, what happens if it doesn't work out? Well, just do it so you can.
Yeah. Well, especially when you talk about martial arts, and if you go competition-wise, then how many people like freeze themselves or don't ever enter into a competition because they don't ever feel like quite ready? Like I was definitely in that camp, and it just did take like, fuck it, I'll just have a fight and then see how that goes, and then keep going from there.
And how much more free did you feel after that first match?
Yeah, so much better. That's what I always say to everyone. Like, just have it. Like, if there's even a vague part of you that's interested in competing in whatever it is, just have a go. Like, it's not going to be that big a drama actually in reality.
That's the funniest thing. I think it's an Aristotle thing that we give value to these things, they don't give value to us.
Yeah.
I remember what grounded me so much for an MMA fight was, if I go into Asda now before my fight, there's old people in there, there's young people in there, there's people in there, none of them give a shit about my fight. Not one of them. The world carried on.
And then you're sitting there obsessing over it for weeks and weeks, thinking about every detail, playing it out in your head. Like, it feels like the whole world at the time. Right?
Shadowboxing in the monster aisle.
Yeah.
Singing Creed and just making a thing of it. Really.
Yeah. Did you sort of have this mindset almost like early on in your martial arts career as well, or is this something that's sort of come more recently? Like when you first started fighting or competing in MMA, were you still quite liberal with it and just going ahead, or were you paralyzed?
Terrified, petrified, and determined. I was always scared, but I never let it stop me. I was scared of sparring most days. I was scared of facing my coaches if I didn't want to do something or I wasn't agreeing with something, taking fights I didn't want to go on board with.
Yeah.
But I still did stuff. I still faced those fears regularly. And I'm proud of that. My career in MMA wasn't exactly, that of Anderson Silva. It was a 1-3 questionable amateur career, which might have been a bit better planned out if I had different sort of decisions at times. But I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed by it. I think it tells a story. To lose and then win took more than it did just to win an easy fight. Yeah. The fights I've lost were against tough opponents, and the fight I won was against a guy who was there to do some damage to me, and I stood my ground and got my own result. Yeah. But one thing to really make a highlight point now is who I was when I was fighting. That value in myself at that point was purely on result. Okay. If I won, I was a winner, I was the man. If I lost, I was a loser and not worth the gloves I'm wearing. Whereas now I'm a lot more separated from that. Whereas a result's nice, it's a nice memory. But who I am to my fiance, who I am to my dog and my family and things like that is more important than a plastic medal that sits in a shoebox. Yeah, well that's it. It's so funny how quickly you forget these things as well. But that is interesting. It's a good sort of mindset to overcome. But how long did that take you to get out of that? Because I think a lot of competitors fall into that. I'm sure there's plenty of people listening to this that will probably be in that same point. Do CBT, go to therapy. It's a self-value thing, self-assessment thing. If you can enjoy the sport for its own thing and your identity being separate from what you're doing, you can have more freedom in what you're doing it for. You're not fighting for your life, you're fighting for enjoyment, passion, love of the game, goals and aspirations, not for your own identity. I'm only a fighter for those 3-minute rounds. The other time I'm just that weird guy in a gi just doing jiu-jitsu trying to avert, can't touch his toes. Yeah. And that's only for an hour or two of an evening. Yeah. You are who you are in that moment at the time, I think. Like right now, I'm a podcast guest. Yeah. Give it an hour or so, I'll be, in a food coma in bed, and that'll be the evening written off. Beautiful. It's Sunday for you. Yeah, we don't have it any other way. But that doesn't mean I'm not capable of the things I've done in the past. It doesn't mean I'm not capable of what I could do in the future. It's just freedom. And that freedom takes time of just knowing self and knowing that there's more to you than what you do, and the world's a big place, and you got a lot of things to do out there. Yeah, I think that's beautiful, man. I think people do definitely get too invested in what they're doing, and I get it because I get a little bit that way sometimes. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The detachment of hey, this is still at the end of the day a hobby, unless again it is something you make your whole life where you are a top of the top pro fighter, then maybe that's a little bit different. But even then, I don't know how psychologically different that would be. I'm not there. But I think it is important to not get too roped into stuff like that and think about it the right way and have that level of detachment, right? You see people who are heartbroken after a loss at
local jiu-jitsu tournament, you know, it's like, who cares, man?
At the time, I'd empathise, but nowadays I relish.
Yeah.
I think, once you get a bit of self-awareness, you realise you look like a dickhead. Oh no, I didn't get my bronze at the fucking, down the road open.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Shit.
Yeah. People put a lot of
me.
attachment into that, yeah.
That was me. I'll tell you this cringy memory. It was like I went down to an All-Stars event once, cut weight poorly after eating terribly. I knocked out first round of this jiu-jitsu tournament by like a submission or whatever, and I cried and I was like, oh, what have I done this for? I'm not going to make it to the Euros or whatever. And I was like, mate, you're 20, get over it.
Yeah.
Just get over it. And do you know what happened since then? Trained on the drive back home after that tournament because I was finished that early. I was like, yeah, just carry on. But just embrace your own cringe with this stuff as well. When you're in this sport, there's a lot of it. If you don't enjoy it, you wasted it.
Have some fun with it. Well, that's it. I mean, especially when you talk about like the hobbyist, the local stuff, is at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. It's a hobby. Like you're not in it. I mean, it's a bit different from you pursuing more like professional stuff off of that. But for the vast majority of people, like you're doing jiu-jitsu because you enjoy it, you know, or whatever art it is and whatever competition. Just enjoy it. Like, don't take it too serious.
Speaking of taking things too seriously, what's your favourite white belt quote of Warrior in a Garden kind of quote? You know, like philosophical kind of ground is my ocean kind of deal.
Oh, I don't know.
They're
not great. Go on. You must have one in the chamber.
So many. I love them.
Go on.
on was it on the ground? No, this is it. On land, the lion is the king, but in the ocean, the shark.
The shark, yeah. The shark. Yeah.
And I have a ground shark.
Yeah.
The ground is my ocean.
Yeah, that's it.
The lion can't swim. In all seriousness, with Tom Hardy saying it in a quote picture and all sorts of things, you know, the Facebook power, I love it.
Yeah,
I relish it. I love it.
I find that stuff is a bit too much for me. I think people, you've at that point, if you're posting that stuff, you've lost sight of what you're doing because there's nothing that terrifying or serious about it. Like I always enjoy all the memes and the jokes and stuff online of, you know, like the guard puller thing, you sit down, like I pull guard, I don't mind, but like it is quite funny, like the butt scooty thing, like come here, hit my guard.
I love it so much. But yeah, with those sort of like, I love them. It's just my entertainment, nothing else. Yeah. Serving a purpose. I love it. Because the reason I find it so funny is because at some point back in the past, I'm not going to give a date, but it was me at some point. I'd see that and think, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we all go through a phase of thinking we're much cooler than we are, I think.
I'm still in that phase and I've grown out of it.
Yeah. But what about for you personally? What are you still? Because I know you've still competed relatively recently, didn't you? Are you still competing regularly and doing your own thing? What does the future look like for you at the moment in terms of your jiu-jitsu?
Very all airy-fairy and all over the place on a sense of I'll do it when I feel like it.
Okay.
I'll compete when an opportunity presents itself that's appropriate and I feel encouraged to train towards it. Right now I'm quite blasé and a bit could not want to.
Yeah, I get that.
I could do a competition this weekend. I don't want to. If I don't want to, what I'll do is I'll show up, give a half-assed effort. If I don't win straight away, I'll probably just not commit enough and then lose the match and feel that was a waste of time and money.
Yeah.
If I want to do it, I'll die on my shield, try and rip heels off and
take it serious
and go full ADCC for a little plastic medal again, like I said earlier.
Yeah. And
that'll be sincere.
Yeah.
And that's what my jiu-jitsu is right now. It's very sincere. I'm not a full-time athlete like I used to be. But what I am now is sincere. I'm there when I want to be there, which is wonderful. Because what it means is when I don't want to go, I don't.
And you don't feel bad either.
You just let it go.
Yeah.
It is possible. You can not go to the gym and not waste the whole evening feeling sad about it.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. In regards to that, what I'm doing now is just enjoying variety. Like, I'm very grateful to my partner, Jade, because ultimately, where it came to the lifestyle of you're either all in all out with fighting and all the rest of it, you don't really appreciate how big the world is around you. And like, say we every now and then, so you got a skateboard, come January, give that a go for a bit. Get rock climbing, all the side quests you can think of.
Yeah.
And it's just freedom of just living,
Yeah, just
seeing
enjoying
things.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Just train of an evening and still time left to do something else that's cool.
Mm.
If you don't want to train, put something else on, just train the next day.
Mm.
And even then, there's no like, you're not in this box you're putting yourself in. Most of the time, it's your own decision to be in a box. That I have to do this on this set way, this set thing, and all the rest of it. When in actual fact, you can be wherever you want to be.
Yeah, just enjoy your life, huh?
Just let yourself be happy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. Is I'm my own victim for that sort of thing of, I'm miserable because I'm not a world champion. It's like, well, where did that metric come from? I started on a whim.
Yeah.
I didn't start to be a world champion.
Well, that's what I was about to say to you as well. Was that always like earlier on? Obviously, now we've sort of discussed more recently, but earlier on, was that the goal? Like, is it I want a world title or?
No. I trained because my brother did the class. I need to quit smoking and start doing some fitness again.
Right.
And then I just started enjoying it. And then monkey see, monkey do. I saw some people that looked really cool, really scary. It was a cool fight pictures. Oh, we don't do a fight, we cool. And you set little goals each time, little milestones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it in project management. It's like you get this wildly impossible goal or something like this, and you look backwards towards that. So like, I want to be in the UFC or whatever. So then I want to be in Cage Warriors, and I want to be in Battle Arena or, Shock and Awe or whatever. And you build yourself up progressively with these little milestones.
Yeah.
And how far you go depends on life and how it plans out for you. But no,
Just sort of snowballed.
I just let things be what they are. Really, I have goals in the sense of like a template, stick in the sort of map of it's like, I'd aim for that. If we fall short of that and aim somewhere nearby, it'd be a cool experience. Like in jiu-jitsu space, I wanted to get on Polaris. I want to be on that show at some point. But regards of my competition performances, they're not up to par just yet. Do I invest more time and energy into that? Not yet, is my answer, because I'm being sincere.
Yeah.
When I want that more than life itself to be on Polaris again, I'll put that time and effort in.
And do you tend to, when you've got matches coming up, do you tend to go in quite hard for like a set training camp, or are you still quite relaxed with how you train?
So competition prep in jiu-jitsu specifically, I think you should have your base all year round, and then you have specific scenarios with certain people who are close to your weight and size. I think, say if we've got a match coming up, me versus you, and you're preparing for me, what I'd say is literally you do your normal training routine as you would, but once a week, if you can grab someone, even in the same sessions and the same routine you've got, is isolated rounds around a certain thing, and like short sprint-based round intensity, things like that. You have like an element of something that will replicate the most tense or most difficult part of what you're working on, and just nailing down the 80-20 of that. What is the match mainly going to be? It's going to be leg locks, it's going to be a pace of a sprint and fighting through that fatigue. That's what the majority of it's going to be. Ignore the leg locks, pushing a pace, push through fatigue.
You can get that.
If you can get that nailed, most of it's going to work itself out on basic skill set.
Yeah.
And that's my sort of general thing, because I can't predict what you're going to do in a match, but I can predict.
No,
you're
and even you can't predict, but based on your opponent moves one way that you're not expecting, then you're like, oh Christ, well that's my whole game out the window, isn't it?
Exactly, you get two set in stone, and you get stuck in the stone.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. So you just adjust sort of pace and intensity and the intention behind it, I suppose.
Definitely, you need a mindset switch. Because if you're just training for fun, that's fine. Just flow, let things go, give up the opposition here and there, just let things develop. Whereas shutting things down and trying to really camp and reserve like energy and then explode at certain times, being very tactical, requires real discipline and real awareness. And to sort of be in a headspace and be prepared to do that sort of thing, I think takes intention and practice reinforcing that intention. But again, it's all each their own. So I'm playing with different scenarios, different things.
Yeah.
One premise I was doing for a little while with someone, in the Premier League for football, free kick takers during training will only take a single digit number of free kicks. because opportunities to take them are so far and few between. You have to have that same pressure emulated.
Oh,
This is
right, I see
this
what
is
you
a
mean.
rare opportunity to have this. You can't just spam out till you get it right. You have to take this seriously. So one thing I suggested was, you go to the gym over an open mat. You have 1 5 or 10 minute round with one person, similar to your weight. And that's your lot.
Right. So you
Not
really,
regularly,
yeah,
but just as a one-off, just to emulate. This is your match essentially. Warm
put
up how
it
you
in your
want,
head, get used to it.
and if you don't like it, tough shit. You have to review it and come back tomorrow. Then carry on as normal afterwards, but a period of isolation. Okay, this is my lot. I'm going to full sprint, actually give, balls to the wall,
Yeah,
everything
match
I've got.
pace. Yeah.
Or afterwards, that feeling, I should have done more. Because that's the sincerity of, I really felt what that meant. I could have given more. That will get you pushing more and more because you don't want to feel that again.
If it's a mental hurdle, especially, yeah, like that helps you overcome that. That's quite clever. I like that. I've not heard that.
Patented.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it first.
It's not patented. Don't tell anyone.
But yeah, I think, to be honest, I might end up stealing that at some point. I quite like that.
If it works for you, by all means.
Yeah.
I'm here to get people better, not to be taking credit for anything.
Yeah. But you can.
And I will. You'll be a testimonial, maybe
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
Know it.
But yeah, that is quite clever. I didn't know they did that with football. I don't know anything about football. But yeah, I suppose the idea of that makes sense. But again, I suppose that comes down to having good training partners too, right? People that you can count on, or that are your same weight and that are game to sort of match
General
up.
sort of thing, best you can, really. You can't guarantee everyone's going to be to the mill, to the sort of milligram sort of thing.
But that's what's hard though as well, is finding a good training partner that you need, that you can go through that stuff. Are you much of a driller as well? Because I know that's a hot topic in jiu-jitsu, the whole ecological sort of conversation.
I drill to be polite.
That's a nice way of putting it. I like that.
My ADHD doesn't fire that way. I'll study a little bit when I really want to. I'll really lock into it. I'll drill to get something mechanically sound. And then, unless it's something I really want to do, I will just drag my heels unintentionally, subconsciously, just don't want to do it. And I'll do it as slowly through treacle as best I can, because I don't like it. I find it slow, repetitive, and boring. If I haven't got competition intensity behind the eyes, I don't want to be there.
Right,
So
okay.
drilling is a real chore for me. And that is as honest as possible. I'm sorry, everyone who coaches me. That is
Yeah, hopefully none of your coaches are watching.
They see
That's
it.
what he's doing. I thought he was slow.
Oh, I thought that's wrong with it. Unbeknownst to them.
Okay. Yeah, because I go back and forth on that. I don't really know where I land. I think I am fairly similar in that I definitely do get a bit bored. But I've come from a more like a traditional martial arts background, and that's pretty much all drills, like drilling, which is probably why I find it a bit boring. But I do understand the value of like having it repped out. And where I'm still a bit like all over the place and a bit Bambi-esque with my jiu-jitsu. It all feels a bit alien. Sometimes I can see the value in it. But I think probably at a certain point, and you're past that point than I am, it probably becomes more valuable just to go, right?
Drilling in jiu-jitsu is different to drilling in striking, I'd say. So if you drill in striking, you've not got resistance in the sense of, if I throw a jab, you can't really interrupt that too well. You can block it, you can also get in the way and move around. My form, my kata of a jab is a structure. My Toriando pass in jiu-jitsu, my straight ankle lock, whatever else, there's too many variables. So for me to drill something in a very specific scenario is good in that scenario, but in a slightly varied one, the grip's a bit different, they've moved a little bit, they're a bit sweater than they were, it's hard. The way I found most beneficial to drill, if you're learning a new technique, drill it with minimal resistance from the end point backwards. What I mean by that is, say I did this with body lock passing, start with the hooks in, tight waist, and start from there, almost like a live sparring round. So you can make it work against resistance and reactions that are realistic. So it's not just, okay, move your hand, move your legs. No. Just actual, if this was a round, this was a match, this was whatever, you'd be able to make it work. That's the thought process being. and then you just add layers behind that. So we start from, say, I'm standing over a butterfly guard now, I'm not already locked in.
Right.
Adding stages before that so you can get to that end point.
And
then
you know
finishing
you're confident that you're there.
Definitely. That kind of idea. So, in regards to a strategy, you're working from the end backwards. You just build layers upon layers. You know, as soon as you get near that later rungs, it's done.
Yeah, you've got the confidence. You're there. You're like, oh yeah, I've done this a million times. I can lock this bit down.
Definitely, it's just the pathway of getting there. So, like a lot of strategy-wise, I used to sort of theorize was finishing sequences, and then just spamming different entries to get to those finishing sequences.
Yeah.
Because say if I want a leg, I get there one method, it works. Well, often if it doesn't, I need to find another way of getting there. I've got to find something new entirely to make work. I don't like learning new things if I don't have to. I think it's interesting and inspiring, but if I don't have to, I'll just go the pathly travel. Just
go to the well.
Go to the well. Just spam. Spam. Make things as easy as possible.
Well, that's it. When you've got a game that works for you and that you're confident in and you know and you can coach, then it's like, yeah, why not? Like if it's working and the game is, can your jiu-jitsu beat mine? Well, I don't need to be trying all the other, silly shit.
You're not doing stat for stat, we're doing technical.
Yeah.
This isn't top trumps, this is...
Yeah. And in terms of your coaches, well, I know we touched on it earlier. You've been doing your charity seminars recently, which I think look really cool. I can't remember if it was on or off camera that I mentioned it, but I'd like to come down to them. I missed the last 2 or something, I think. But tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what are you doing, and what's the premise behind it all? Because I think that's a cool concept.
So, regards of what I coach, initially it varies depending on the feedback I get from the previous seminar. Moving forward, I'm going to be doing them for a different cause, but I'll discuss that publicly when I've got that all finalised. But essentially, same kind of idea. It's teaching a workshop seminar format around a position to all levels, from day one beginner who's never even seen jiu-jitsu to experienced black belts who just might need a different perspective on something or just supporting a cause. The reason I chose mine initially, because mental health as an overarching umbrella covers a lot of ground, a lot of awareness, and bridges some gaps between the stigma and the conversations. If you have, say, proportionate emotions and feelings, you might find it helps you manage them. If you have a condition or some sort of illness that affects the way you manage your emotions or whatever else, there's more support available. It's just understanding what's out there. It's not black and white. It's just take your meds and you'll be all right. It's part of it for some people. Some people need talking therapy. Some people need some sort of counselling, some sort of guidance, some sort of management systems. And even just a conversation, just I'm struggling or what's going on. So yeah, just bridging that gap really.
I think that's nice because I think there's not enough charity stuff that there's much more opportunity to do it with martial arts. I think a lot of people hold their seminars just because it's like, oh, this world champion guy's coming to the gym for £100. You can come and learn from him with us. But I think the charity element of it is a nice touch because a seminar will bring people together from like different gyms and different styles and things, which is always great fun anyway. But then having it actually for a bit of a better reason as well. I think everyone just sort of relaxes. They take a much nicer approach to it, I reckon.
I think so. And albeit I've been training for 12 years and this, that and the other, I'm still purple belt teaching a seminar. I've done 5 or 6 so far, but still on paper it doesn't make sense. Especially in this day and age, the amount of black belts we've got. But
I don't know though, but the thing is, jiu-jitsu is one of the best examples of that, where actually it's so much less about the belt and even accolades, in fairness. Like some of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners I've ever rolled with or trained with or learned from have been like, quote unquote, nobodies, like they're not some big famous person, they'll have done good competition history and things like that. But the element of, oh, you've got to be this crazy black belt with, this grade or this championship or this title, whatever it is, I think is past it. And in jiu-jitsu, they've got good at accepting that. Like people will come to us. I mean, I've seen pictures and stuff from your seminars. You have plenty of people come down and, as you say, you're just a purple belt, but you know what you're talking about and you've got something to offer in that element. So yeah, I wouldn't ever, I wouldn't lose any sleep over that. I love learning from like anyone.
And that's the real point I get at is if you're, day one or you're Helio Gracie, the technique's right and it works, it'll work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So whether you want to learn how I've done it based on people who've taught me how to do it, because this is something I make very clear. I don't make this stuff up. I just plagiarize and steal people who've shown me these things. And just rinse and repeat, really. Learn, adjust, trial and error, and just develop, really.
Where have you been training previously as well? Where did you sort of come up and get your belts and your experience, like your MMA? Because I've seen on your Instagram you've been around some wicked places, but I don't know actually where you sort of started.
How long have you got?
As long as you need.
We started at a gym called Rising Crane.
Mm-hmm.
My coach left because his visa ran out. So I went to BJJ Bedfordshire, which was Tucan Academy. Tokon, I'm not sure what it was. I went to BST after that to do my MMA. From there, I did my gi through there as well because all under one roof. Fast forward, come down to Portsmouth, and here we are now at Gym 01, where we coach as well at Vespasian BJJ. So Vespasian Security around Portsmouth, they started a jiu-jitsu team.
Oh, cool.
My fiance Jade, she's the head coach for them, and I'm the uki on Tuesdays. I'm the little punching bag / grapple dummy.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as the assistant coach.
Yeah, that's a very nice way of putting it, yeah.
But yeah, so we do those on Tuesday. So along with the sessions at Gym 01, coaching on Tuesday, and now also with Jay Butler as well on weekends when we can.
Cool.
There's a nice mix.
Yeah.
Different styles, different approaches, and ultimately where I'm not an active competitor and not, I'm this team, that team, I'm this, that, and the other. I'm just Dan. I like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And if you want to train, let me train. If you don't, I'll carry on my life.
Yeah.
And everyone who lets us train, we're polite, respectful to, and we just enjoy it.
Well, I think that's one of the cool things that I think of all the martial arts, jiu-jitsu does probably better than others is the cross-training element. Like people are not everyone is cool. There are people that are a bit more precious about these things, but generally speaking, people are pretty relaxed about it. And it's quite fun to roll with people from different styles and like go around. I know when Jade was on the podcast, actually, we were speaking about all the holiday camps and things that you can, that you go on. Great fun. I love them. Like, because you see so many different people, so many different styles, and it's a really cool, like, just all-round relaxed vibe. Whereas not all martial arts are quite that inclined.
No, not at all, no.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, Dan. Where is the best place for people to follow you and support you in the jiu-jitsu journey?
Dan Lester _ on Instagram. Lester, Lester, not the cheese. I'm cheesy enough as it is. Cool.
Very smooth. Thank you very much. Very nice to meet you properly.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for listening. Sadly, that is all we have time for today. But please do, as I say, make sure you go and support Dan. All of his social media links are below. I know he's got charity seminars coming up, and obviously he's got his online coaching. Make sure to follow him and also the gym that they are teaching at together. All of those details are going to be below. Thank you for listening. Please do drop him a follow. And while you're at it, share this podcast with another martial artist. Until the next time, I will see you there.